because we are joined by a budget analyst for the Cato Institute, Tad DeHaven. Tad, great for you to join us. Lizzie is along here with us as well. Tad, what do you think is going to happen?
I think there's an increasingly good chance that you're going to see some sort of short-term agreement because the two parties are just way far apart. And all of this revolves around 2012, and that's the problem. Look, Republicans can't increase taxes without offending their base, and apparently Democrats can't agree to sufficient spending cuts and need to get tax increases to appeal to their base. And I just don't see either side agreeing to some sort of substantive program here in the next couple weeks. So I think what we're going to see is a temporary increase, followed by some sort of wimpy, non-consequential deal that doesn't do anything for the long term.
Right, so we'll be back here again maybe in 6 months or so. Tad, tell me, you say you've been talking to some sources at Treasury. What are they doing? What are their contingency plans if, in fact, we don't get a deal, even if it's a short-term one?
Look, the bottom line is life goes on. And the federal government is still going to be collecting a lot of money via taxes and fees. So it's a matter of prioritizing your spending. Now, is this a good situation? Is this the ideal situation? Of course it's not the ideal situation. But Treasury can still take care of bond holders, of debt holders. They can still issue Social Security checks. There's a lot of rhetoric, there's a lot of scare tactics, and that's understandable because both sides are rushing to get a job done. What I'm hoping that the American people stop and look at this absolute circus and start to ask themselves if it's true come August 2nd that we could have an economic Armageddon or a meltdown of some sort in the absence of an agreement. Is it really a good idea to put all this power and money in the hands of a few people in Washington, D.C.?
The markets would say no. I mean, at this point, that there isn't this real debt, this real threat of a default, right, Lizzie?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess, Tad, one thing I'm curious about is, while we haven't seen much market reaction, is there an argument to be made that we have already damaged the full faith and credit of the United States because this argument isn't about the underlying economic fundamentals at the moment? It's showing our bondholders that this is being held hostage by political differences.
By politics. Certainly. I think there's two ways of looking at this. There's the short term and there's the long term. The short term concern is getting a deal done. I think the short-term concern is much less important than the long-term concern. We've known for a decade or more that the federal government is on an unsustainable trajectory, that something has to change. And how has Washington responded? Both Republicans and Democrats have responded by more spending, more debt, more profligacy. And so now, again, as they continue to punt the, kick the can down the road,
right,
we're reaching a point where something has to happen. I think markets would be feeling a lot better if they knew that we had some sort of long-term substantive agreement in place. It's not going to happen with 2012 elections around the corner.
Easy to say, but hard to do. Tad, thank you very much. Tad DeHaven of the Cato Institute.